Hello everyone! We're thrilled that you've joined us here today for a little while to focus on the wonderful things of God and the life that He gives. The Bible tells us to turn our attention to things that are right and true, things that are lovely, admirable, and praiseworthy. So let's do that together here today. In this show, we'll hear from a couple who walked through the dreaded waters of cancer. And not only did one of them have to endure it, but rather both of them ended up having to face their own cancer diagnosis. Listen in as Barrie and Bonnie Pelley share their story and how their trust in Jesus is stronger than ever. As well, today, as our musical guest, we are pleased to have Samantha Tetford sing a couple of songs for us. Thanks again for tuning in and enjoy the show.
The only cure for everything I feel within, redeeming what was lost and all that could have been. No, this is a healing kind of love. You are the truest friend, staying through the night when I was at my end, comforting my heart till it was light again. Oh, this is a faithful kind of love. Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, Emmanuel, God with us, you're here with me. Wonderful Counselor, the government is resting on your shoulders, your shoulders. You are the final word. You alone decide when every page will turn. So I will trust your timing, I will rest secure. And oh, this is a steady kind of love. Oh, you are an everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, Emmanuel, God with us, you're here with me. Wonderful
Heart Matters will return in just a moment.
Looking for a quiet, clean, and economical place to stay in central Newfoundland? Emmanuel Convention Center offers hotel and motel rooms, cabins, bunk rooms, and RV lots. We are a family-friendly site featuring nature trails, a playground, and sporting areas. Give us a call today.
From envelopes to tractor-trailer loads, Dooley's Trucking caters to all your shipping needs. Capable of meeting all your shipping requirements throughout Newfoundland. Dooley's Trucking is your choice for fast and efficient delivery. Ship with the best. Ship Dooley's.
My name is Brandon. I'm the owner here at Gander Appliance and Furniture. We sell a wide variety of appliances and furniture, including Canadian-made Decorest, Ashley Furniture, Samsung, as well as Whirlpool.
Closed captioning provided by Terry's Tents, in business for 30 years, providing canvas fabrication, printing, embroidery, craft supplies, and more, located in Happy Valley, Goose Bay.
My name is Barrie. This is my wife, Bonnie. She's been my wife now for 41 years. We're living in Port Anson. We've been here for just about 5 years, about 4.5 years. We have 2 adult daughters who are married and have given us 4 wonderful grandchildren. And in February of 2012, we got the news from our doctor. She wanted to see us. And the news was that I had been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, cancer of the blood. She went through all of the details of there's going to be scans and there's going to be blood work and there's going to be everything that goes with diagnosis and treatment and so on. I remember on a Monday evening in February, we were to go to St. John's that next morning and to get the doctor's report. And there had been a song that someone had shared on Facebook. And my wife had already gone to bed on that Monday night, so I decided to listen to the song. And it was a song entitled, everybody knows it now, Cover Me, Peace of God, Cover Me. I just kept listening, Peace of God, Cover Me. And as I went to bed, that was a song that was in my heart and was on my mind. And we woke up the next morning, got up early to leave Bishop's Falls and drove to St. John's. Now, I don't want to sound super spiritual or spiritually macho because I'm not. I'm pretty emotional and soft when it comes to the things of God. But when I walked into that office, I had no fear, no anxiety, no worry. When I walked out of the office after getting the report from the doctor, I had no fear, no anxiety, no worry. And, well, I thought I wasn't normal. You know, you go through something like this, it's pretty devastating when you hear the word cancer. Of course, being human, you worry about how it's going to impact your immediate family, but there was this simple faith, this simple trust that I had in knowing that God was going to be with us through this. I ended up having to take chemo treatment. In the midst of that, I discovered that I had my second round of cancer, skin cancer on my nose. And so dealing with the specialist there in St. John's, he had to juggle what to do with that because I was on chemo treatment and so on. And so they figured that out between the two doctors. And so I was going through non-Hodgkin's lymphoma as well as skin cancer, where I had to have skin grafts and so on. Also, 2 years before that, I had a lump in my throat. And I had it checked out by my family doctor and had biopsies done. It came back, it was a goiter. And so my hematologist, as we were going through the chemo treatments, she kept looking at this, noticing this lump, and she would say to me, we probably should send you and just get that checked. Well, it was less than a week, I had a call from his office. Dr. Lee needs to see you. And so we went in to see him, and we went in, and it was all over his face. He said, it's cancer. And so here we are, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, skin cancer on my nose, and now thyroid cancer with more surgery, radioactive iodine treatments, and so on. Now, I've been a pastor at this point in time, for about 30 years. It's been my life. That's who I am. I just moved into a church in Bishop's Falls 6 months. I don't have all the answers as to why is this happening at this point in time in our ministry, in our lives. But Lord, you see it, you understand it, you know all about it, and we trust you with it.
The morning after we came back, after he got his diagnosis, I was driving to work, and I turned on the radio, and this song came on, and I don't even know the singer, but it's something about my old world is caving in, but I feel you now more than I did then. It meant something to me, because that morning, I felt like my world had caved in. You know, okay, my husband is sick, and we don't know where this is going to go, but that was the song that just went through my mind that morning.
As we were in the doctor's waiting room and having treatments, and then we had chemo treatments in Grand Falls at the cancer clinic there. It is amazing the people that God puts in your life. And so we got to pray with people who were just devastated, just totally devastated. Just walked into the doctor's office with the news, you've got cancer, and didn't know how to deal with it. And we were able to pray with them and assure them of our prayers and so on. My lymphoma went into remission. My doctor kept telling us, well, we can't cure you. It is probably going to come back at some time or another. And it was, I think, in 2019 that I went to my family doctor in Botwood, and she had a letter from my hematologist, Dr. Icky. And in that letter, she had said, I'd just like to let you know that Mr. Pelly's cancer is in remission, and so he's only got to see me once every year now instead of every 6 months. And so that was the words you were waiting for, remission, and so we thank God for that.
In August of 2018, September the 12th, I'll never forget, it was our daughter's birthday. Happy birthday. That's when we found out that I had breast cancer. So anyway, she wasn't sure. She had to send me to a surgeon to see what the next line, what we were going to do. So anyway, we went and saw the surgeon, and he said we were hoping it was going to be just a lumpectomy. And he said, no, that wasn't possible. I was going to have a mastectomy. I think I took his words, and the same for him. I never had any pain through the whole thing. So anyway, they sent all of my things off to California to see if I was going to have treatment. Now, Barrie's biggest concern, I guess we care, you think about each other going through this, his biggest concern that I was going to have chemo, which chemo is rough.
Yeah, I just said, Lord, I'll take it for her. If there's got to be more cancer, let me carry it.
And anyway, I remember the day the doctor called me. She said, your counts are pretty good, so you won't be having chemo, but you're going to do radiation. So anyway, I went to St. John's. I did 16 rounds of radiation. Came back home on the 4th of January of 2019. And 6.5 weeks later, I went back to work.
The thing that seemed to be highlighted for me from the very first report of cancer was this simple trust. You know, sometimes we complicate things. You know, we've got to have all kinds of complicated questions and complicated answers, and so, but I just found that it was just this simple trust. We've proven God, and we only represent thousands and thousands of people, families, couples, individuals who have proven God in the past. And through this television program, Art Matters, we've heard, so many over the years of people that have got through it because God has been present. God has proven himself. And it doesn't take anything deep. Simple faith tells me that God can and will do it because he's been proven so many times. And he gives us peace. He gets us through places, and when we are on this side of it looking back now, we shake our heads and say, wow, he was there all the time.
Heart Matters is all about people, especially you, our viewers. That's why we love hearing from you. Maybe you have a suggestion for an upcoming show. Perhaps you know of someone who has a story to tell or a song to sing that could be a blessing to all of us. We also love getting feedback from you guys. Simply send us a message letting us know how something you've seen on this show has impacted you. And as always, if you follow us on social media, you can keep up to date on upcoming episodes and events. Still to come on today's show, The Bottom Line with Freake, and more music from Samantha Tetford when Heart Matters returns.
Scott's Transport Limited is a family-owned and operated full transportation company located in beautiful Deer Lake. In business for over 25 years and with a fleet of modern equipment and dedicated team, we service the growing needs of businesses from Newfoundland and Labrador to Ontario and locations in between. If it matters to you, it matters to us.
Looking for quality products and top-notch service? From lumber to paint and refrigerators to sofa, your local Notre Dame Home Furnishings and Notre Dame Castle Building Centers can help you complete your home, serving you from 16 locations across Newfoundland and Labrador, 6 days a week.
Have you heard of the Doomsday Clock? Now, without knowing anything about it, the name itself doesn't create many warm feelings. In 1947, shortly after the end of World War II and the first use of atomic weapons, a number of scientists got together and formed what they called the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. And they created a symbolic clock to show how close we are to destroying ourselves with our own technology. And every year they evaluate where we are as a global society and determine how close we are to the stroke of midnight. Now, if you haven't picked up on it yet, midnight means global annihilation. Well, what's taken into consideration to make that determination? Well, it's things like war, nuclear threat, civil unrest, and recently climate change has been added to that list. The furthest the clock has ever been set back was 17 minutes to midnight, and that was back in 1991. The Soviet Union collapsed, many peace treaties were signed, everything in the world seemed to be on the right track. And you'd think that as a society, we'd only progress and be better. Well, that is certainly not the case. This year, 2023, the clock has been moved the closest it's ever been. It now stands at 90 seconds to midnight. Now, for a lot of people, that sounds really scary, and honestly, it kinda is. Just hearing that can give us a sense of fear and hopelessness. And many people feel that way while looking at the world right now and the state that it's in. Now you're thinking, I don't really need a doomsday clock to remind me that things are hopeless. All I have to do is look at my own life right now. And if you only knew the things that I'm going through. And that's who I want to speak to today. I want to speak to those of you who feel like you're at the end of your rope, like you're only a few seconds away from midnight in your own life. And maybe you're thinking today that the only way of escape is to end it all. For those of you today who have been hurt, for those of you who feel like you just can't get ahead no matter what, for those of you who think that no one will ever be able to accept you or forgive you for the things that you've done, for those of you who are thinking, what is the point of all of this? What is the point to life? And I want to tell you today, there is hope. There is hope regardless of what you're facing or what you've done. There's hope no matter how hopeless a situation may appear to be. You know, our story today was such a great reminder that in the darkest of times, when all seems hopeless, when the diagnosis seems so dire, that we can find strength. And we can find assurance that there is hope in any circumstance that we face in life, that there is a God who is full of love and he's full of compassion. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and to give you a hope." Isn't that incredible? Because the bottom line is that there is always hope, because hope is found in Jesus. And regardless of where you are in your life right now, God can turn back the clock in your life and you can know hope.
And I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. No, all my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, and I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, and I will sing of the goodness of God. And I love your voice. And you have led me through the fire in my darkest night. You were close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, and I will sing of the goodness of God. And I will sing of the goodness of God.
One of the most intriguing things about the Christian walk is how, in the midst of deep sorrow or pain, we can still sing of the goodness of God. Time and time again, we've heard stories of how people endure life's hardest situations, yet they claim that God has been faithful through it all. Just like today's guests, Barrie and Bonnie, in the midst of cancer, they both talked about how God's faithfulness and how simple trust invoked an unexplained peace. We want to thank them for sharing that with all of us here. I also want to thank Samantha for sharing those songs with us. As you go about your day, we pray that you place your simple trust in the God who is listening and cares deeply. That's all for now, but we'll see you next time.